Hey y'all, greetings and happy Thursday. This is the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese. Thank you all for tuning in. We are again having a little evening show this beautiful Thursday evening. Like I told y'all before on this first week, you know, you got to make sure you're subscribed and that you have your notifications turned on because ain't no telling when I might pop up with this show. In the next coming weeks, hopefully we'll be more consistent with the same time, depending on my schedule. If not, again, as long as you subscribe, you're going to know when I'm popping up. So thank you all for tuning in. If you're new here, this is my new show, the Osha Cerese Show, where headlines or healing meets headlines and where we utilize alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. We are taking some of the biggest trending topics, headlines, things that I see on my timeline, and just giving you a little bit of the tea with a little healing with it, letting you know what's going on and just pulling some of the lessons that we can learn from them so you can walk away with some valuable tools and tips that you can apply to your daily life. As I've mentioned before, y'all, this is day 6 of the raw vegan / juice cleanse that my mother and I are on this week. So this is a juice that I made last night. This is mango, pineapple, a little bit of orange, a little bit of lime, a little bit of ginger. So cheers to great health. That mango, that is delicious. The juices have been juicing this week, y'all. If you've never juiced, if you don't have a juicer, invest in a juicer or a blender. Get you a nice blender and you can put your fruit, vegetables, whatever you want to juice, herbs, into your blender and use a cheesecloth or some type of strainer or a mesh bag, something like that, and squeeze the juice out. And it'll be, actually, people recommend that more than a juicer. So if you have a blender, get you a strainer or a mesh bag and squeeze that juice out and get you some fresh juice, because the juice that we get in the stores is full of sugar, full of preservatives and citric acid and all this extra stuff. Pure juice straight from the fruit. Again, this is mango, pineapples. I got to remember where the camera is. Mango, pineapples, oranges, lime, and ginger. So I will be sipping on this throughout this episode. So let's get right into it, y'all. I'm so excited that you all have been joining me on this show. I've been getting feedback from people. Whether you're able to catch it live or catch the playback, I appreciate the support. Tell your friends about it. Again, it's the Osha Cerese Show. I'm Osha Cerese. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a content strategist, a dream doula, if you want to just label it all under one umbrella. I help you, I support you with birthing your ideas, bringing your ideas to life, which is what a doula does. A doula, I'm actually a trained labor doula as well, but a doula supports you with bringing life into the reality, bringing life into the world. And you don't have to just birth babies. You can actually birth ideas, birth movements, birth brands, whatever it is that you need support with. And they also help advocate for people. So let me be your advocate. Let me be your support system when it comes to birthing these ideas that you have. I'm also an event curator. So stay tuned for some new events coming soon to the local Atlanta area. And let's get right into today's show. So I don't know if you all have seen the new documentary that came out with Luther Vandross. If you haven't tuned into this show before, since it's February, it's Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. I start each show with a highlight from Black history. We've talked about Marcus Garvey this week and his wife. We talked about Mansa Musa yesterday. We talked about the author of The Spirit of Intimacy. And we've talked about a lot of great historical people in Black history. And since it's not only Black History Month, but we got Valentine's Day coming up next Friday. Or actually, is it next Friday? Yes, next Friday. And I just recently found out that we have something called Black Love Day. I talked about that on episode 2. If you want to watch the playback, it's all on my YouTube channel. But Black Love Day is February 13th, and it celebrates Black love in multiple forms, not just love of romantic love, but Black love, love of the creator, love of self, love of your community, love of Black people. And I've been using this time to highlight not only Black history, but Black love in history. So today's highlight is Luther Vandross. Everybody loves them some Luther Vandross. If you if you Black, you definitely have some Luther Vandross in your household. Somebody in your family played some Luther Vandross. Somebody in your family wanted Here and Now to be their wedding song. We all know Luther. You got the arguments in the Black community of who's your favorite, Big Luther or Little Luther. Some people call him Lufa. You know who I'm talking about, Luther Vandross. So basically, I wanted to highlight him because I had just recently watched the documentary. But let me give you some fun facts about him before I get into that. He was born April 20th, 1951 in New York City. He started his career as a background singer for David Bowie, Diana Ross, and Roberta Flack before stepping into the spotlight himself. He was a Grammy-winning artist with 8 wins and over 35 million records sold worldwide. And some of his songs that we love, Never Too Much, Here and Now, House Is Not a Home, Dance with My Father. The list goes on. I actually, who knew? Because I told Alexa to play Luther Vandross the other night while I was juicing. Let me take a sip. Do y'all remember not too long ago when Shannon Sharp went viral because he was live on Instagram doing a do? And he kept saying, "That's my Michelle. That's my Michelle." Did y'all know that Luther Vandross has a song called My Michelle? I had no clue. But when it came on the rotation, the first face that I saw was Shannon Sharp's. But Luther Vandross has a song called My Michelle. Luther Vandross, some of the songs that he made were actually remakes. He remade a lot of Dionne Warwick songs. And he didn't, sometimes we hear these remakes and they're not as good as the original. He definitely made those songs his own and gave them the talent and the passion and the creativity, and he made them his own as well. So they don't sound exactly like hers, but beautiful. He slowed them down. He put a little extra sauce on it. So he definitely was known for his smooth ballads about love and heartbreak. And, as I said before, his music is the soundtrack for Black love and romance. And of course, we all know that he sadly suffered a stroke in 2003 and he passed away in 2005. But the reason I wanted to highlight him for today's Black love and Black history spotlight is because when I looked at the documentary, I told y'all yesterday that my favorite genre of movies is romance, and my second favorite is biopics, documentaries. When I watch people's story about like not just their claim to fame, but like their childhood and the things that they've gone through, the traumas, the childhood upbringing, their things that you just never knew about them, and then the adversity that they had to overcome to make it and to follow their dreams and to see their dreams manifest. It just does something to me. It just does something to me. It makes me so emotional. When I tell you, I've seen Selena so many times, but when I watch it as an adult, I just cry through the whole thing. I watched, I think Mary J. Blige had, I think it was called My Life or something like that, that it kind of detailed her story, but then it had like this element of a child, like inner child healing element to it. Cried through the whole thing. Who else's biopic? I've seen Jackson 5, All American Dream so many times, know all the words. But when I watched it as an adult, it made me cry. Like it just makes, and Tina Turner. Not just What's Love Got to Do It, but they recently put out her documentary or biopic. No, it was a documentary. Shortly after she passed, I think. And just to see her talk about how she wanted to perform, how she wanted to become a rock star, all the things that she went through in her life from childhood to her relationship with Ike and beyond. But then when she said she wanted to rebrand herself and be a rock star and perform for stadiums and arenas, and then they show her on stage and you see this big stadium full of people that love her singing all her words, like the chills that I got and the tears that came up, it's just a beautiful thing. But my most recent tearjerker was the Luther Vandross story, and it's called Never Too Much if you haven't checked it out already. And I think I cried about 4 times, 4 individual times for different reasons. But one of the things that kept coming up in his story was, again, he was the soundtrack for Black love and romance for so long. We love his music. You can put on his music and just let it flow, no skips, and his voice is beautiful, and all these people love Luther. But he felt like he never got to experience that true love for himself. And just to hear that come up multiple times in this documentary, like people that were the closest to him were saying that he just never felt that love. He was really depressed and sad and lonely and longing for true love, the love that he makes everyone else feel when they listen to his songs. And I just was really touched by that. And I really think a huge part of that was him not being able to live in his truth. He never came out as a homosexual man, but if you look at the documentary and you see him and you listen to him and you listen to his closest friends, and they're basically hinting at it but not really saying it. Some of them have said it. Even Patti LaBelle said that he told her he didn't want to disappoint his female friends or female fans who loved him and looked at him as if he could be their man. So he didn't want to disappoint them. I think he didn't want to disappoint his mother. So he never really got a chance to live in his full truth. And I think that was a major part of the loneliness and the longing for love, because I'm sure, in day-to-day life, maybe he was open or maybe he was out, but on the grand scheme of things, you're hiding, you're repressing this huge part of yourself. So it was just really touching and sad, and parts of it was just beautiful to hear what he was really going through. And it just reminds you of, even with comedians, a lot of comedians, they're making everybody else laugh, but they are the ones that are going through the most depression. So this man, Luther Vandross, is singing all these love songs and getting people married and having people in love and making love and creating children and all these things. And he's feeling lonely. So I thought that that was very powerful and very sacrificial of him to spend his life pouring into the love of everybody else and not receiving that. So we honor Luther Vandross today, and we love him, and we continue his legacy and in his music, through his music, and through sharing what we love about him. And watch the documentary if you haven't already watched it. It's called Never Too Much. Never Too Much. Y'all tell me if you watch this, if you're watching live or if you watch it back, what is your favorite Luther Vandross song? I think I have too many. I don't know if I can choose. So now we're going to switch gears. I'm going to switch gears now. We're going to get into the celebrity drama, y'all. Oh, Lordy. So, unfortunately, Irv Gotti, the CEO and founder of Murder Inc., passed away yesterday. So, condolences to his family and loved ones. We all know that Irv Gotti and 50 Cent have been beefing. 50 Cent already been on my show this week. He has been a topic on my show this week already for beefing with Big Meech and Rick Ross. Now, all of a sudden, it's Irv Gotti. So, I don't know if y'all know it, but him and Irv Gotti have been beefing for years. I don't even know how long it's been, but I didn't see any news of Irv Gotti being sick posted anywhere else but on 50 Cent's page. As soon as he got wind that Irv Gotti was sick, he posted a picture of the article or a screenshot of the article saying that he was basically fighting for his life. And he made a very distasteful comment. I'm trying to see if I can find it. He might have taken it down by now. Maybe he felt bad. Doubt it. Doubt it. Dealing with 50 Cent. He posts so much. Maybe it's been. Oh, yeah. It looks like it was taken down, and I definitely did not screenshot it. But he was making a mockery of his death, basically saying, like, oh, man, I was hoping that he could see my new shows that are coming out when they announced that this man was fighting for his life. So the next day, Irv Gotti passed away. They posted it. The first thing 50 Cent did was post a picture of himself smoking hookah with an RIP tombstone next to him with the caption, I'm smoking on that Gotti pack. Nah, God bless him, with a dove. LOL. Now, I understand people can get petty. People maybe like Cardi B, once we beef, if you beef with me, we beefing forever type vibes. And I honestly don't know how deep the beef goes between 50 Cent and Irv Gotti. I know it's deep with the whole entire Murder Inc. I know it's deep, but I personally do not agree with making a mockery of somebody dying because he's somebody's father, son, husband, or ex-husband, loved one, whatever. But again, I don't know how deep their beef goes. I just know that they've been beefing since literally the late 1990s. There was some violent incidents that occurred, and they've been going back and forth on social media for years. They have had public altercations, diss tracks, and I guess it all started with an altercation or incident that occurred in 1999 with Ja Rule. So their stuff goes back even further than him and Rick Ross. And it's crazy. It's ridiculous. So today, not only was that circulating, but 50 Cent's son Marquise got on did a video looking just like his father. And if you don't know, 50 Cent and his son, he don't deal with his son. He feels like his son's mother brainwashed him to think like her, or whatever reason that they have. He hasn't been in his son's life since he was a little boy. His son is grown now, and his son got on Instagram and made a video looking just like his dad and sounding like him and acting like him, saying, "What made you think you were so special?" And I'm assuming that it was addressing or referencing Lil Meech, because Lil Meech, y'all, it's getting crazy. As I reported to you the other day, that 50 Cent is not fooling with Big Meech because of his association with Rick Ross. And you know that 50 Cent is the producer of BMF, the show on Stars, which is loosely based on BMF's story. BMF, Big Meech, Terry, the brother, Terry Flannery, it seems like they have been cutting ties with 50 Cent for whatever reason, but Lil Meech is suffering because he has grown to be very fond of 50 Cent. He only speaks so highly of him in public because he took him under his wing. 50 Cent took him under his wing, sent him to acting school, made sure that he was equipped with the talent and the skills that he needed to play his father on BMF. He's been giving him money, taking care of him while his daddy's been in prison. And then for his dad to get out and kind of like show allegiance to Rick Ross, it's putting Lil Meech in a bad position. Everybody else is saying, you just go with your father, you're loyal to your father, and, of course, family first. But then he's looking at like, this man is giving us opportunity, giving me opportunity. And so I'm wondering, is 50 Cent really going to go through with not having BMF on anymore because of this? But Lil Meech, 50 Cent posted a text between him and Lil Meech after all of this. And he said, they just told me you unfollowed me off Instagram and now you managing Skilla Baby with Rocket when I brought him around you first, when you didn't have a clue who he was. Now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off of my back for you. I can't believe this, man. You act as if I'm your enemy. I've only showed you love and loyalty, and I'm human. I go through my own shit, but I never switched up on you. He said, fuck Ross, but he gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts. The internet shit is throwing me off, man. You know me in real life. So 50 Cent posted this screenshot of Lil Meech texting him, and in the caption, he said, what season, little nigga? So I don't know what they're about to do with the next season of BMF, because I personally know that they've already started filming for it. They probably wrapped up. Filming is in Atlanta. So I know people that have been casted to be a part of the BMF season that's coming up and have already filmed. So I don't know. Does 50 Cent have the authority to just say we're not playing season 4? We're just not going to put it out. I think that would be messed up, not only to the fans that are waiting for the next season, but also to the actors that are casted. It's not just Lil Meech that would be harmed. There's people, Da Vinci, there's people that plays the parents, the people that play the BMF members. You gonna just give all these people's jobs is messed up because Big Meech took a picture with Rick Ross and letting him do the welcome home concert. I don't know. What y'all think? So with all this going on, not only did 50 Cent post that screenshot and say that, then he posted Lil Meech gonna be on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta with the caption, I'll give Mona Scott a call for him later today. I don't know if 50 Cent is being a jerk per usual or if he's just trolling per usual, because it could be either way. He is a master at marketing, and he utilizes things that are trending in order to build up whatever he's promoting. And if you recall, when Power first started, he took the fact that Empire was the popular show. I can't even remember where Empire was playing. I don't know if it was on. Was it ABC? Let me see. The show Empire was on Fox. So, they got a big marketing budget or whatever. He took the fact that they were popular and he started pinning the Power show against Empire, saying Power is better than Empire. He kind of created some beef with the actors and the actresses on Empire, and that brought attention to Power. So he didn't even have to necessarily use so much marketing dollars. He just used him being petty as promo, and it worked. Because I know personally, I did not see Power until the second season. That beef stuff didn't work for me. It was really, I started a new job, and my coworkers were just talking about it, and they just was giving so many details, and it sounded so good. I said, what are y'all talking about? And they said, it's this show called Power. So by the time I started watching Power, they were like halfway through the second season. I went home, ordered Stars. I binge watched the first season and that first half of the second season, and I've been a fan of Power ever since. But for some people, they were intrigued enough to go because of 50 Cent's petty tactics. But again, with all of this going on with 50 Cent posting about Lil Meech, that is when his son decided to create this video making a mockery. And even The Game has had something to say about it, because y'all know The Game and 50 Cent have had their own personal beefs. And even he's kind of getting into the conversation, basically saying that he feels like Lil Meech should have just rolled with his dad, shouldn't even sent 50 Cent that type of message. So who knows what's going on? Y'all let me know if you think BMF will still go on in spite of all of the drama. Do you feel that Lil Meech should just be loyal to his father? I talked about loyalty versus love. No, not loyalty versus love. Loyalty versus respect the other day when I was talking about Big Meech with Rick Ross and 50 Cent. But here we are with the fact that Lil Meech has gotten involved. And, that is his father. Of course, he's going to ride with his father. But it's like, why is 50 Cent allowing all of that to mess up people's opportunities? I don't know. Is he being too petty, or is it like you beef with one person, you beef with the whole family? Y'all let me know. Before we go into the next topic, I do want to talk about the fact that 50 Cent and his son, you know, have this estranged relationship. And it's almost like art imitating life, because remember the episode of Power when Kanan killed his own son, Sean? 50 Cent really be acting like that. Not that I think he would kill his own son, but it's almost just like if his son is not doing exactly what he wants him to do, or if he feels a way about how his son has been brought up or his thinking, I don't know their business, but just based on what's being shown on social media, it's like he has no desire to try to get back on good terms with his son, and the son basically has given up as well. I think at one point his son was even like associating with some people that have been known to be either the child of someone that shot 50 Cent when he got shot 9 times. So it was like they're doing petty stuff like dealing with the ops and all of that. So is there a point where the relationship is not repairable between a father and his adult children? I think it can still be healed. I think it's unfortunate that it has gotten this far. And then you see 50 Cent with his little baby boy, the one that's, I don't know, half Asian or whatever. I don't know if she's Asian or Hispanic. The one woman that he was calling a sex worker that was dealing with Diddy. He has a little son with her. And he's so attentive with his little boy. He shows so much love. He's loving. He's present. He's always flying him out or flying to him to spend time with him. And then you have a whole other son that you don't deal with because you don't like the way his mother raised him. So it's just sad. And you see it in not just celebrities, in real life. Fathers disowning their children, or not dealing with them because they don't like the way they think because they were raised by their mothers. But it kind of takes the father to take that step towards the child to give them their side of the story. And I'm not just talking about celebrities, because I know real life people who hear one side of the story. You hear what your mother is telling you. If you were raised by a single mother, you're only going to hear the side that your mother tells you, or you're going to assume, if your father isn't present, that whatever it is that she's telling you negatively about him is true. So it's up to that father to step up and give his side of the story, or to try to repair the relationship. And the son has to be, or the child, the adult child, has to be willing to hear them out. So I definitely think that there's some healing that's possible for Marquise and 50 Cent, but both of them have to be willing. And it seemed like they just the damn like. And it's so funny because the people that I know in real life who can't stand their fathers, or, you know, have a certain perspective about their fathers, they look and act just like them. And it's just amazing how DNA works, how genes work, because you literally can't stand the person that you look, sound, and act just the damn like. So sometimes you need to just get that other side of the story, not even for the person. If you feel hurt or harmed by your parents, listening to them or hearing them out can be tough sometimes, especially the parents that raised us millennials. The boomers and the Generation X that raised us, they don't always like to hear the things that they did that hurt us, or that we feel traumatic, feel was traumatic, or we're healing from. They don't always like to hear that, and they don't always want to take accountability for that. So unfortunately, it can be challenging sometimes to have those conversations and to be open. It does take a lot of healing for yourself first. Sometimes, you know, I have to remind myself with my own journey with healing from childhood stuff. Sometimes you have to heal without the person that hurt you. Like sometimes you might not get the apology, or you might not get the understanding, or you might not get the response that you were hoping for. But I will say that something that is a few things that are helpful when it comes to healing the relationship between you and your parents, or whoever, a parent or whatever, whether they were absent, whether they were abusive, whether they just were toxic, or whatever it is. You know, it's hard to do, but there is a way that you can give them grace, not an excuse for what they've done, but giving them grace and looking at them not just as your parent, but as a person, looking at your father as he is a man, looking at your mother as she is a woman. They were and are people before we came along as their children. So everybody, you know, not everybody does everything right. People are figuring it out, and they're learning it just as they're learning how to be your parent, just as you're learning how to be their child. And they have had a whole life before you came along. Um, Most of the time, it probably mirrors some of the things that you have struggled with them on, whether that's abuse, neglect, the way that they discipline, the way that they communicate, the actions. It's just a repetitive cycle. And a lot of us millennials, we are the ones that are breaking these cycles. And these Gen Zs and these Gen Alphas, they really gonna be some cycle breakers. Hopefully, some of them, I don't know what they got going on, but a lot of them are breaking some cycles too. But I would just say trying to give them grace, trying to look at them as a human and a person, and not just your parent, knowing that they had a life before you and they have their own set of traumas that they most likely haven't healed from either. That some of our parents can't even fathom the type of healing that we do. Like, um, just a personal story. Like, I wrote my dad a 30, no, it wasn't 30. It was like a 14-page letter before my 30th birthday, just going over some of the things that were hurtful over my lifetime that I felt like I wanted to share with him. And one of the things that he said when he responded was just like, well, you know, I didn't tell my parents this, or I didn't talk to my parents about what they did or what this or that. And so they're not even able to get the concept of not confronting your parent, but just having an uncomfortable conversation about something that they did in their parenting. So just understanding that this is a new method. Like, they don't know nothing about it. They can't even think about doing the things that we do. And then sometimes people are just not ready to receive what you have to say. They're not ready to face that they did something wrong or they did something hurtful. So even if you say it, they just may not be able to be in a place to receive it. So you have to be in a place to be able to say, you know, whatever the results are, that you can still be okay. And it takes some courage, but it is possible to heal and repair, if not the relationship in the way that you want it to be, but heal yourself. Like, heal the wounds. Sometimes you have to heal your own inner child by reparenting yourself, by writing those letters to your younger self, by meditating and channeling the energy, or visualizing you talking to your younger self and letting your younger self know that they're safe, that it's okay, getting therapy, going somewhere where you can scream, whatever it is that you need to do to heal your inner child, doing childlike activities, like get back out there. I talked about yesterday, just transmuting sexual energy into creative energy, also with healing your inner child, like getting back that childlike wonder and curiosity, and being inquisitive about life and trying new things, and dancing and going outside barefoot, grounding and hula hooping and jump roping and skipping and frolicking and coloring. I got a coloring book right here I haven't tapped into. This is not necessarily heal my inner child, but this is, I think I call it's going to be my manifestation book, because look at all these fine black men in here. And it's a journal. Y'all see that? I bought this at this event called Controllerize. Look at him. This is by Paperluck Studio, a local black-owned business. This is not sponsored. It just happened to be right here. But healing your inner child sometimes when it comes to repairing your relationship with your parents as an adult, you just have to take matters into your own hands and heal your own inner child with or without them. But like I said, doing things that make you happy, find joy, get back into that, spend some time with some children. If you don't have children, volunteer, um, do some things that bring joy to children, hearing them laugh, and playing with them and playing games and teaching them some of the old games that you used to play. Like, you can heal your inner child through other children. Or one of the things that I've given my client as an assignment is to think of a time in their childhood when they really were happy, and to create a playlist of the music that was popular around that time. So listen to those songs and get into the nostalgia of when you were just your happiest. And I know for me, it was nothing like the 90s. The 90s was just like, it was just unmatched. I was born in 88. As you can see, I rep it every day around my neck. Shout out to A Plus Boutique, my cousin Zakia. So I grew up in the 90s. And when I tell you, it was just an energy that I've never felt again so far. But when I do want to try to tap into that energy, I'm going to put on my 90s playlist. I'm going to listen to the songs that were popular around that time. And around that time, I've been an R&B queen, an R&B diva, an R&B girly. I had my Walkman listening to the same songs I vibe to now, but now I understand them completely. But I definitely was walking around with my headphones on, listening to some H-Town. My favorite song from the 90s used to be Tell Me If You Want Me To Give You All My Time. That song. And Kissing Game by High Five. I like the way that. Those two are two of my favorite songs. Of course, I listen to Mary J. Blige. I listen to all the groups. So whenever I want to get into that energy, I listen to my 90s music. I listen to the songs that was popular back then. So yeah, if you need support on the journey of healing your relationship with your as an adult child, healing your relationship with your parents, or doing some inner child healing, please feel free to go to my website, oshacerese.com, OSHACERESE. I will help you via one-on-one coaching, or you can always sign up for one of the classes or programs that I have. So one of the programs is One Single Step at a Time. That is the 6-week healing program. There's definitely a lot of inner child healing work going on in that program. And that program does include coaching as well. So you have some things that you do as self-paced, but then it is a guided program, and you have weekly coaching that comes along with that program. And then one single step at a time, that's that. You can also do 5 ways in 5 days, which is the self-love program, teaching you how to utilize the 5 love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care. So not only is it teaching you how to love on yourself and pour those love languages onto yourself, it also will help you to identify the blockages that you have from giving and receiving love. And all of that boils down to childhood, period. But it will help you to identify those and give you some tips on how to unblock that. And of course, you can always do the How to Beat Single guided journal. There's some tips and tools in there for inner child healing as well. So whatever you want to do, it is all on oshacerese.com, OSHACERESE. Feel free to go on there, look around, and see what works best for you. And if you have ever had to have an uncomfortable conversation or work on healing your relationship with one of your parents or both, let me know how that went. You can DM me privately or comment in the comment section if you're watching it back or if you live. Let me know your experience with that. Before I go on to the next topic, I want to talk about this meme that I just saw. And I'm going to give y'all a little bit of story time and get y'all in my business too. So I was scrolling and I saw a meme that said, let me see where it is. The meme says, women who stay with a man, or it said girl, but I'm going to say women who stay with a man after he has a baby on her, should join the army. Strong ass B. And somebody, of course, commented Rashida in the comments. And whenever Rashida and Kirk come up, everybody is always clowning them and clowning her, really, for staying with him through the things that he has done. They've been married for, I don't know, 20 plus years. It doesn't look like she's going anywhere. And honestly, when you look beyond the mess, it's love and hip hop. So y'all know a lot of it is scripted. A lot of it is going to show the messiest parts of their life and their marriage. When you look beyond that, there's other things that you can see: the longevity of their marriage, the fact that, you know, he helped her with her career. They have a family dynamic. But yes, one of the things that he did was cheat on her and have a baby on her. That pineapple and that lime, but the mango though. One of the things that I tell people is when somebody have a baby on you, it's not for the weak. So you really have to do some soul searching before you decide to stay with someone after they have a baby on you. And I'm talking from experience. My ex, when I tell y'all I'm a dreamer, I have dreams. I had a very powerful dream last night too that I have to talk to somebody about. Not a therapist, but talk to somebody about what that was included in the dream. But when I tell you, when me and my ex were together, I had a dream one night that I'm trying to see what the dream was because I can vividly remember the dream. All I'm going to say about the dream is he got one of his, this sounds very toxic. Mind y'all, I was very young at the time. I think I was probably 19 or 20. He got one of his baby mamas pregnant again. And I remember the day that I walked up to him. We were talking. He was in the kitchen. I was standing on the outside of the bar. And I'm like, I had a dream last night that you got such and such pregnant. And he was just like, I don't think he ever looked up, but he was just like, man, that's crazy. And I'm like, because at the time, I did not pay attention to the cues and the body language, because I could usually tell when he was lying or when he was hiding something. And when I look back on that, he clearly was hiding the truth that he already knew. So anywho, maybe the next week, he ended up telling me that, yes, indeed, she was. So I just remember being extremely sad. I was unconsolable at the first night. The first time that he told me, I was crying. I was upset because in my mind, I was thinking like, the way he said it was just, first of all, he didn't like hold my hand. I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this. It was none of that. It wasn't like, sit down. I was already sitting, but there was he didn't ease me into this conversation. We're driving. It's late at night. We're arguing in the middle of an argument. And he accidentally called me her name. And I went off even more than I was already going off. But what I didn't know is that he had been arguing with her already prior to this conversation. So that was why her name was freshly in his mind to say as he's arguing with me. So the way he told me was, well, we gonna break up, because I had already told him that was a deal breaker for me. And he was like, we gonna break up. And I was like, why? And he was like, because I cheated and she's pregnant. And I was just like, what? Who? And when I found out who it was, mind you, I told y'all I was young. Don't judge me. We listen and we don't judge. I'm an open book with y'all, but we listen and we don't judge. He had several baby mamas. But this particular baby mama was one that I didn't get along with. We never got along. There's backstories, and part of it I understand, but part of it was out of line on her part too. But it was one that I didn't get along with. Not that it would have been better if it was one that I did, but I think the fact that it wasn't a random, is what bothered me the most too, because it's like, you already have a child with this person, so it's not like we can just oh, you have a relationship with her and you have the child and that's all that it is. It was a one-time thing. It was a mistake. Like, no, y'all already have a child. There's already a relationship there established. There's already tension between us. And you didn't went and did this. Like, I felt so betrayed, hurt. And he couldn't touch me for a long time. I was sad. I was mad. It was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. Looking back on the situation as a grown woman who has done healing work, who has been in, had these relationship experiences, who knows my worth, that is something that I just wouldn't be willing to accept these days, because it's not, we weren't married at the time, but it's just like, it's not just, oh, you made a mistake, you cheated. Like, it really takes a lot. And the babies are innocent, so there's never nothing against the baby. But it takes a strong person to have to overcome that. And it's just not for me. I will let y'all have it. But for some people, it's different. And there's this show that my mom referenced to recently. It's called Reasonable Doubt. It's on Hulu. And it highlights a woman who's a lawyer. Her name is Jax. Her and her husband, their marriage has been kind of rocky. So they kind of went on a break. I don't know if it was a break. It was kind of a break. They lived separately. She was doing her thing with another man, and he had a couple of slip ups with this woman, and the woman ended up being pregnant. And they decided to work on their marriage. And I think in the midst of them working on their marriage, they find out that this woman is pregnant, and she decided to stay with him and be 100% supportive, show up to the, if there was a doctor's appointment, whatever was needed, she was there. And some things end up going on. I won't spoil the show for y'all, but I would suggest you watch it. It's a good show. And that's the difference too. You have to consider, when people are married and they take these vows, do you stand by somebody if you've taken a vow to death do us part, from sickness and health and all of this stuff? If somebody have a baby on you, because they've broken the vows. So at this point, you really have the choice if you want to stick around with it or not. But at the time, I wasn't even married yet to this man. And I decided to forgive him. I don't even know if I ever really forgave him. I decided to accept him, even though he got this other woman pregnant, right? But I was so livid with her. And a lot of people say, oh, the other woman doesn't owe you no loyalty. I get all that too. But I think I was so mad about it with her is because you know what's going on with us. We live together. You know that I've come with him to pick up the baby that y'all already have. I'm driving. He's putting the baby in the car seat. Like, that we're completely together in a relationship. And since we have animosity against each other, I'm like, oh, okay, you really did do some stuff to purposely piss me off, because you already know we beefing. So he had a baby with my and at that moment, I should have just been done with the whole thing. But I stayed with him. And even though I really didn't, I don't think I ever really forgave him for real. But I did accept him. But I never did forgive her because I felt like it was intentional. Then I never got a chance to talk to her. So I felt like I had so much on my chest, because I would talk to him about it all the time. I would throw it up in his face. I would remind him. I would bring it up. And that's not good either, because if you can't forgive and move forward without making this a dagger that you're going to throw at somebody every time, then you don't need to be together. So that's another thing. It's one thing to say, oh, I'm going to stay with this person. But if it's still something that's hurting you every day, something that's making you miserable, and you're making him miserable and constantly repeating the same thing over and over again, making him feel bad for it, what are y'all doing together? This is just a miserable relationship. So I would not advise that. I wouldn't do it again. But the point I'm making about not forgiving her, I didn't get a chance to talk to her. And then she decided to use the fact that she didn't like me to keep him from getting to know the baby or whatever. She didn't want him to bring the baby around me. And I'm like, girl, I would never hurt a child, but I get it. I get it. So I didn't get a chance to talk to her until it was maybe like 2-3 years later. And I sent her this long ass message. She didn't even respond to it, but she read it. And just being able to get it off of my chest, it was like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders, because for years, when I say hate is a strong word, I literally hated her. And I was miserable because I felt so much hatred and animosity towards her. And it was so powerful that I would literally manifest her into my reality all the time. I would be driving, thinking about her, thinking about some evil things. I would be driving, thinking about her. And I would look up and she would literally be right there. I'm not lying and I'm not exaggerating. I did this multiple times. I remember getting on a bus one time, because in Colorado, we have the RTD system. We get on the bus. I think I was probably going to work or something. She was on the bus. I remember driving down the street one time. She walking past me. I remember pulling up to Family Dollar one night, thinking about her, literally mad, livid. I look up, I see her walking in the store. This happened multiple times, and it became like an obsession of anger and pent up resentment. And so I would say, if you're not able to forgive somebody to the point, oh snap, I thought I pushed the wrong button. If you're not able to forgive somebody to the point where you can be within the relationship and not throw it back up in their face, their wrongdoing, be in the relationship and be okay with the situation. Not okay like, oh, I don't mind, but you've accepted it fully and you're willing to be with that person regardless, then I say move on, because you're making yourself miserable. It's just not a good thing. And then there was this woman that came on our Table Talk Thursday podcast. Shout out to my family and our Table Talk Thursday podcast that will be returning. This woman came on the show and talked about some book that she had wrote. I believe it was about forgiveness or something. I can't remember what the book was about, but she was mentioning how her husband had cheated on her and created a son. And she basically was saying that she hadn't nurtured a relationship with this son. Like, he would come over to spend time with his father and she just would not acknowledge. I think she said maybe she would speak to him, but she didn't allow herself to develop a relationship with him. And I think that is crazy as hell. Ma'am, you should have left that man, because there's no way that you should be taking out what these grown ass people did onto this child. If you are forgiving your husband and you're willing to work on your marriage, despite him cheating and having an outside child, when that child comes over, you need to be his mama. You need to be his bonus mother. You need to love and nurture him and have a relationship with him and treat him just like you treat your other children. Otherwise, you're wrong. I don't care what nobody say, that's wrong. So again, if you can't fully accept what has happened and live your life in a healthy manner and accept that child and love that child and not put that child into grown folks' business, don't do it. Keep it moving. So the next topic that I want to get into before we wrap up tonight, I just saw that Alexis Skyy, she's most known for being Fetty Wap's ex. She was on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, I believe, and maybe I think she was on Love and Hip Hop New York and Atlanta too. I don't know, but she a couple of years ago, or however long it was, basically rebranded herself and was, really speaking about being a Christian woman, being modest, changing her image, really being in alignment with the Word of God. And then all of a sudden we start seeing her kind of like reverting back to her old ways. She's an Instagram baddie. She shows a lot of skin. That's just her brand. So a lot of people question what happened to the Christian image. So she's just recently been in an interview with Pastor Jamal Bryant, and she admitted and revealed that the Christian rebrand wasn't fully for her, it was for a man. She's basically said that she's always believed in God, and she's had her own relationship with God, but all of the rebranding and trying to live in accordance to Christianity was because of the man that she was with at the time, and she wanted him to marry her. She wanted a ring. She wanted to be in alignment with what he wants his wife to do and be. And I'm not here for that. I've seen it in real life. People rebranding themselves, deleting their whole page, showing up differently. And a lot of people talk about how they look at folks' social media to judge them and gauge whether or not they should pursue them further in real life. But some people are doing that for that very reason, creating an image of themselves that's not aligned with their true selves, with their true authentic selves. So yes, you could be a holy roller, you can be a Christian, you can be on there quoting scriptures and wearing a turtleneck and a dress all the way down to your feet and praying every day and condemning everybody that is not in alignment with the word of God or whatever. But if you really want to be on there twerking on a headstand and wearing your booty out and being liberated and free, but you want this ring, so you're trying to put on an image for this man who wants a Christian woman, you're doing yourself a disservice. I don't agree with doing, I believe that anyone can be positively, just like we can be negatively influenced, we can be positively influenced by somebody that we meet, somebody that, even somebody that we are interested in. There can be positive influences or things that you see that you admire that this person has or that they are doing. And maybe you decide to learn more about it, or you even get so interested that you start implementing it into your life. But if it isn't genuine to who you are, it's not going to last long, because while you're doing this, it's a facade, and you're going to start being miserable because you're not happy, because you're not living your truth. Just like I said earlier about Luther Vandross not being able to live in his truth, and he passed away feeling like he never had the love that he desired. If you're trying to create an image of you're this holy roller Christian woman, when you know that you're not there yet in your walk of life, as far as wanting to change your whole image and brand, like, it's not about, maybe she really did want a closer relationship with God, but she wasn't ready to just go all in with modesty and purity or whatever else is required for her to be the image or the person or the woman that this man wanted her to be. And then I want y'all to stop being so thirsty for a ring that you're willing to create a lie to get it. Like, whoever is for you will be for you. The man for you will accept who you are. And if you're not attracting the type of man that you want, and you feel like you want to change your life, don't do it just for that. Do it because that's what you're doing. That's what you want to do. Because it's not going to last long. If you say, oh, I want this certain type of man, and I know that he likes this certain type of woman, I'm going to become that, but it's not real, it don't make no sense. Now, if you really want to change your life because you feel like you're attracting the wrong type of men, and you genuinely want to change your life, and you see a difference when you do change on as far as who the type of people that you align with, make sure that you mean it. Make sure that it's genuine, because it's just too many people faking the funk. And then when they finally do get the ring, the real them shows up. I don't know what happened between Portia and Simon, but I felt like she pretty much, for the most part, it seemed like she was still herself when they were in the courting phases of their relationship. But I do believe that she took on a lot of wanting to know his traditions, learning how to cook Nigerian cuisine, wearing the Nigerian clothes and all of that, embracing all his children. Maybe it was genuine, but shortly after they got married, they filed for divorce. So what was it about the courting phase and the engagement and all of this leading up to all these extravagant weddings, and you get the ring, you get the last name, you get to say you're the wife, but then does the real you come out at that point? I don't know. And it kind of reminded me of when Brittany Renner, she had went viral on tonight's Conversation, she had said something like, I don't know myself. And I remember making a video about it, about, is she really taking the time to try to know herself? Does she want to know herself? Does she need support with knowing herself? And now she is on her own journey of becoming a Muslim woman. So she has found her peace with Islam, according to her. And, her new image is that. So I'm hoping that it's a genuine journey that she's on, that it really, really resonates with her, and that she's found something that she can evolve through and grow with. But I don't know. Will we find out later that she's become a Muslim because of a man that she's trying to pursue? I don't know. So what do you all think? Do you think that people should be willing to change themselves solely for the man if it's not genuine for them? Or do you think people should be themselves and align with the people that want them for them? Y'all let me know. I just feel, the change should be for you and not for other people. And authenticity is going to win every time. So if you're not being authentic to yourself and your true beliefs, it's going to show up. So I would just say, don't just do what looks good, do what feels good to you. And any transformation that isn't rooted in your truth is probably going to crumble. So ask yourself before you do any huge shifts like this, any huge transformations, am I doing this because I truly want to, or because I think I have to? So before we wrap up, I want to also talk to the people who are looking for genuine love, authentic love, love that is aligned with their true selves, that are tired of being single, ready to get into a relationship, or ready to mix and mingle with some people, at least ready to get outside, get off these apps. If you don't remember, I told you I am an event curator. Part of those events are singles mixers and speed dating events. So I want my speed dating and singles mixers to be curated to the point where when you show up, you're actually attracted to the people that are there. You're actually interested in the people that are there. You have shared values and shared interests. So in order for me to do that, I have created the Intentional Love Collective. The Intentional Love Collective is a database that is growing right now. It's going to be a community. And you just basically fill out your information. It's a form that gives me a little bit more insight into who you are, what you're looking for, and what your values are, and your dating intentions. And that way I can better match you with people who align with that. And so when you show up to a mixer, it's going to be like, oh, these are people that actually catch my eye, because I'm going to be looking at the database saying, okay, this person looks like this. They like people that look like this. Here go a group of people that look like this, and they like people that look like this. These people are interested in these type of hobbies. That matches. This person right here has children, and they're open to dating people who have children as well. This person has no children and don't want to date people that have children. So it gives me an opportunity to match you all a little bit more. So if you are interested in being a part of the Intentional Love Collective, please comment or DM me Intentional Love, and I will send you over the form. Again, Intentional Love. The Intentional Love Collective is growing right now, and I'm so excited to bring more curated events to the Atlanta area and maybe to a city near you. I even have some international intentional lovers on the list for those of us who are not closed off or closed-minded to dating long distance. So intentional love, let me know and I'll send it your way. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation. Let me see, based on what we talked about today, let me see if I have any prompts for you. I wrote some things down. So we talked about Luther Vandross and the fact that he did not feel like he was properly loved. So I want you to write down who makes you feel love, or what makes you feel love, or when was the last time you felt love? What did that look like? We also talked about 50 Cent and Lil Meech and Marquise, his son, and repairing the relationship between an adult child and a parent. So here's a prompt for you to write down, how can you better relate to your parent? Or you can say, you can write about what you feel needs healing in your relationship with your parents. And how can you go about doing that? And we also talked about can you stay in a relationship if somebody has a baby on you? I'm not even gonna give you a prompt for that. Y'all just sit and think, what would you do? What would you do? Or what would you expect your partners to do if that was the case? And then we also just talked about Alexis Skyy and how she said that her Christian rebrand was for a man. So ask yourself, do you feel as if you should change for a potential partner if it is not genuine to yourself? Because a lot of people feel like marriage is so important that you should be willing to change anything about yourself in order to get that marriage. I disagree, but maybe you don't. So y'all let me know. Y'all write about it, see what comes up, and make sure you come back and tell me on tomorrow's episode. You can DM me if you want to be private with it. Again, visit oshacerese.com, OSHACERESE.com. Make sure you are subscribed to my newsletter. Check out the courses. Check out the one-on-one coaching. Get you a guided journal. Or, just send me a message. And if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, you need to do so ASAP, because I'm not always going to stream on Instagram. Y'all getting a little teaser this week because this is the first week of the show. But go on over to youtube.com/@OshaCerese, OSHACERESE. The link is in my bio to make it easier for you. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure you turn on the notifications, because you just don't know when I might pop up. But anyway, I hope you all are having a wonderful Thursday evening, and I will see y'all tomorrow night. Good night.